Fuck you! Any nigga wanna test my nuts must have heard you die. Bullets they pop, suckers they drop, some do crack for the drive-by. Notice that I'm king of kings. When you nail me to that stick, whether I die or whether I live.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. We are going to skip over the fact that I dipped out for 2 months, and we're just going to get right into the video. Because I am a coward and I can't face my actions. However, I am going to insert a small disclaimer here because I can kind of smell the comments already whenever you talk about horror music and stuff like that. This video is primarily focused on late 80s to early 90s all the way to the 2000s Memphis underground rap scene. Why it is so horror inspired, what makes it so dark, and the inspirations and origins of this type of music. I am not saying that this is the most darkest genre of music, obviously.
Face fucked with a shovel!
Now, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I discover a new subgenre of music that I really enjoy, the first thing that comes to my head is, where the fuck did this thing come from? It's so different from anything that I've ever heard. It obviously had to come from somewhere, right? And when it comes to 90s Memphis rap, the origins of these things are actually quite simple. I don't fucking know. For example, the OGs, the pioneers of this subgenre of music are people by the names of Juicy J, yes, that Juicy J, the one that is still active today, DJ Paul, and also DJ Spanish Fly. Those three are pioneers in the Memphis rap community. Now, where they got that sound from is what I'm more interested in. And why I'm so interested in it is because it sounds so drastically different than anything else on the scene at the time. During this time, people like NWA were coming up. People like UGK were coming up. People like SPC were coming up. People like the Bad Boys were coming up out in New York, right? But when you take a look, listen to all of those, they sound relatively similar. They have some different production styles and different beats and stuff like that. However, Memphis rap in the early 90s was a completely different beast. Where the fuck did this thing come from? That is the question that I had. And the answer to that is I don't fucking know. Now, the best answer that I found to answer this question is that 90s to early 2000s Memphis rap was very heavily inspired by a sub-genre, a offshoot, if you will, of the genre of blues, and that is called Delta blues. I'm going to paraphrase what Delta Blues is because I don't agree with it. It's a more satanic and occult imagery version of the blues. Now, I don't agree with it because I love Delta Blues. I don't see any of that shit at all. Now, of course, when you listen to regular blues versus Delta Blues, there is a very clear difference on which one is darker. Obviously, it's the Delta Blues. However, blues music in general is already dark. It's already very sad. And Delta Blues just kind of takes it a step further. Now, where they pull the whole satanic occult thing from, I don't know. Maybe I'm not cultured enough to know, but I don't hear it when I listen to that kind of music.
You know, if I don't never no more see you, honey.
At its core, 90s Memphis rap, I'm just going to call it Memphis rap from now on to save some time, is just gangster rap. They talk about pimping, they talk about dealing and selling drugs, they talk about homicides, they talk about suicides, they talk about running from the police, they talk about all these kinds of things. They talk about life in the ghetto, gangster rap. So what sets this apart from groups like NWA and Snoop Dogg or the Bad Boys or UGK? What sets them apart? It's because this type of music is not affiliated. What's the fucking word I'm thinking about? Now, if it was just gangster rap, I wouldn't be talking about it as much as I am. Although the lyrics do go into a lot more graphic detail as to what homicides they have done or what they would do to people than standard gangster rap, which also plays a part in why this music is so dark. However, what I want to talk about is the fact that the lyrics don't really play a part in this style of music. A good example of what I'm trying to say is black metal. If you're not familiar with the black metal subgenre of metal, let me educate you a little bit. Black metal is the literal definition of satanic metal. You know the Satanic Panic where they were like accusing Ozzy Osbourne and Marilyn Manson about like, you know, worshiping the devil? This type of music is literally worshiping the devil. At least it was. Nowadays in the black metal scene, it's all about creating an atmosphere of darkness and despair. That's the entire point of black metal. For example, there's a song out there called Winter Storms by a band called Ymir that I really like. The reason I like it so much is because it transports you to another scene of darkness, despair, and misery. Now, where black metal creates an atmosphere of darkness, despair, and depression, Memphis rap creates an atmosphere of gangbanging, of the horrors of living in the ghetto. And that is what makes this kind of music so dark. And if you couple the slow drum beats and the minor synths with some horror samples, or in Kingpin Skinny Pimp's case, samples from Scarface, you get an atmosphere of gangbanging.
But I'm understanding and making sense of these foreign words. Explaining to a person's gotta die. When I awake in my sleep, another innocent body cry. At nighttime I dream, evil thoughts of mutilated faces. Cut up body parts locked in two.
Again, I'm from Hawaii. I don't know anything about gangbanging. I grew up not in the suburbs, but not in the ghetto for sure. But when you listen to this type of music, you're almost getting put on the edge of your seat because you're just filled to the brim with anxiousness. You don't know what's going to happen next. Much like living in the ghetto. Again, I could be like diving way too deep into this. I could be analyzing it way too deep when they could have just made the music because it sounds cool. Now, I know I said that the lyrics don't really play a part when it comes to the atmosphere of making this kind of music. It's more focused on the instruments and the synths and the 808s and the samples that they really throw in. However, that doesn't mean that the lyrics are obsolete. In fact, when you listen to the lyrics, they paint a bloody picture of what is actually happening in the song. For example, in the song Red Rum by Project Pat, great fucking song, by the way. The lyrics paint a graphic picture of what life is like inside of the ghetto, inside of the mind of somebody that lives in that particular ghetto. Now, if you take the very graphically written lyrics of Memphis rap and you couple that with the intense atmosphere that it provides, you get horrorcore, or horror music. If you don't know what horrorcore music is basically any form of rap that incorporates occult or paranormal influences into their music. Basically, if they tell the story of like what you would find in a horror movie, but they put it in a rap or any kind of song for that matter, it's horrorcore. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that every rapper that comes out of Memphis in the early 2000s and late 90s was horrorcore. However, it is a massive part of the atmosphere that they're trying to create when making Memphis rap. Is a very horror-driven type of rap. And that's why I think a lot of people are driven to it, because it is just so different and it paints a graphically different picture than literally any other place in the rap genre. In my opinion, what really separates the lyricism between, drill artists such as King Von and people like Project Pat from the Memphis rap scene is that King Von, let me just say this, King Von is one of my favorite rappers because the stories that he tells is amazing, but he talks about committing homicides and then how he gets away with it, dealing drugs, and things that happen in Chicago, in the ghetto, in O Block, and I get it. But when it comes to people like Project Pat, who explain how they're going to do it by sticking their shotgun up someone's ass, and then maybe suicide's a better option for you because what I'm about to do to you is 10 times fucking worse. The graphicticity, is that even a fucking word, of the lyrics are just really heavily weighed on the Memphis side because that's just the type of rap that they do. And that also adds to the darkness of this kind of music. Did anything I just said make sense? I don't know. We're going to find out, though, when I edit this shit later. Now, when it comes to the influence of Memphis rap, I'm not going to say that every horrorcore artist was influenced by Memphis rap, but Memphis rap is just such a massive part of the horrorcore community and the subgenre of horrorcore that it's almost impossible to find a horrorcore artist out there that wasn't initially inspired by somebody in that genre. Now take artists like Suicide Boys, for example. You can very clearly hear the influences of Memphis rap, especially in their earlier works. In fact, Scrim said himself that some of his inspirations, some of his influences for making the types of beats and the rapping the way he does is Kingpin Skinny Pimp from the Memphis Rap Scene.
If I take a bet, you can guess who gon' win. I walk in the jacks without no protection. I function in hoods every city I'm in. I'm the great
all the way to people like the Devilish Trio. Now, the Devilish Trio is a smaller group, I understand, and there isn't much on their influences on the internet, but listening to their lyrics, listening to the way they rap, the way they produce, you can very clearly hear Memphis rap in there. You can very clearly hear the Juicy J influences, the 3 6 Mafia influences, the Kingpin Skinny Pimp influences, the DJ Spanish Fly influences. It's all there. You just have to listen to it. But also, if you listen and analyze the lyrics and the process of creating something like Memphis rap, you can very clearly hear, you know, influences from the West Coast rap scene, from the New Orleans bounce scene, from the Houston rap scene, from the New York rap scene. It's pretty much everything culminated and got down to Memphis, and then they put their own little spin on it. And that's what I think makes Memphis rap so special, so dark, and so influential. Now that about wraps up this video. Now before you leave, because I know you're about to fucking leave, you asshole, in the description of this video you'll find a playlist with all the music that I used in this video in there, along with other Memphis rap music videos that I thought were pretty cool, so I just threw in the playlist as well. A lot of this music you cannot find on streaming services. There are no lyrics to them, they're just there, and they're rips off of the bootleg CDs that they had back in the day. These videos and word to mouth and physical copies of these things are the only proof that these things ever existed. So I highly suggest going in, listening to them, and taking some influence from them, and hopefully putting them into your music if you're a singer-songwriter. The Memphis rap scene, the horrorcore scene, is really getting more and more influential by the day. You'll see a bunch of different artists coming out of the woodworks with a bunch of different beats that are very heavily inspired by people like DJ Paul and DJ Spanish Fly. So go ahead and give them a listen and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. If you guys want to see me cover another topic, please leave it in the comment section down below as well. And I will catch you next time. Bye.